everyone, welcome to the Indian Mini Guide. Do you know why do Indians drive on the left side of the road? Well, the short answer to that is simply because we follow British convention. They came here, ruled India, built some roads, brought motorized vehicles with them and drove as they drove back India country. By the time they were gone, they had forced all the Indian vehicle owners to drive like them only. So it became the norm and was followed after the independence too. So the next question might be, why did British follow the left-handed traffic when the rest of the world didn't? About 65% of countries drive on the right side, that is in green color, and only the 35% of countries drive on the left side, which is in orange. The origin of this varies based on the time period and country, but primarily throughout history, people use the keep left rule. It has only been very recently that the world has predominantly switched to the keep right rule. The first real archaeological evidence of a keep left or keep right type rule for a road originates in the Roman Empire, which shouldn't be surprising as they built a lot of massive trafficked roads spanning Europe and thus would have needed to establish certain rules governing how people were to interact on the roads. So, which side did the Romans use? Archaeological evidence suggests that it was common for the Romans to drive on the left side of the road. This was first discovered in 1998, where a Roman quarry in Swindon, England, had grooves in the road going away from the quarry on the left side that were significantly deeper than those on the right, due to the added weight of the stone. It is not precisely known why they have chosen this side, but it is probably similar to one of the main reasons this practice continued in the Middle Ages. During the Middle Ages, when colonization and army profession were in fashion, there were too many army men roaming on the streets like swordsmen, cavalry, etc. Meeting people coming the other way on the road was something best done defensively. Historians then believed the keep left rule was adopted because a right-handed person finds it easier to mount a horse from the left side of the horse, and it would be very difficult to do otherwise if wearing a sword. And while traveling on a horse, if you met some unsavory company on the road, you could draw your weapon typically attached to your left side with your right hand and bring it to bear quickly against the person who is going the opposite way of you on your right all the while, controlling the reins with your left hand. Then, of course, if you happen to meet a friend on the road, you could more easily offer your right hand in greeting without needing to reach across your body when on horseback. People on horseback then also typically ruled the road, so everybody else followed suit. This keep left rule was so common that in 1300 AD, Pope Boniface VIII commanded that all pilgrims headed to Rome from wherever they were coming from should abide by the keep left rule of the road along their journey. This then held across most of the Western world until the late 70s. By the late 18th century, the first laws in the United States were passed starting in 1792 in Pennsylvania, where the rule of the road was now officially a keep right rule. This quickly spread throughout the United States and Canada. So how did this spread through Europe? It started with France. The reasons why the French switched to a keep right rule instead of the traditional keep left rule are not completely clear. But some say it is because the French revolutionists didn't want anything to do with anything that had ever been pop ordered. So they followed in reverse to his rules. Others say it was because they didn't want to use the same rule of the road the English used. Still others say it was entirely Napoleon's doing. The reasons why he may have done this because Napoleon was left-handed and thus forced his army and their conquest into a right-lane situation. Napoleon then spread this system throughout the countries he conquered. Even after he was defeated, most of the countries he had conquered chose to continue with the keep right system. The most important of these countries, as far as eventually further spreading the keep right system, was Germany. Fast forward to the 20th century, and as Germany conquered countries in Europe, they forced their keep right system onto those countries too. What's the reason behind England? England never conquered by Napoleon or later Germany. Thus, they kept the classical keep left rule of the road that had endured for hundreds of years before. Let's move back a little further. In 1176, building of Old London Bridge began, and by 1209 it was completed. The bridge was just 8 meters wide and about 900 feet long. It was the major entry and exit to the city. But by 1400 it was already crowded. The city kept up with the bridge for about 300 more years, when finally in 1722, due to the total chaos of traffic on the bridge, the Lord Mayor of the city decreed that all carts, coaches and other carriages coming out of the south walk into this city do keep all along the west side of the said bridge, and all carts and coaches going out of the city do keep along the east side of the said bridge. Thus, they followed driving on the left with the driver's seat on the right. By 1756, this was actually made an official law in Britain. As the British Empire expanded, this keep left rule as a law spread throughout the former British rule countries. And as for the rest of the world, India and UK are not the only ones who drive on left. There are 74 other countries, territories and dependencies that follow this left-hand traffic, such as Australia, Bahamas, Brunei, Barbados, Hong Kong, Jamaica, Singapore, New Zealand, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Republic of Mauritius, South Africa, Thailand, Indonesia, Bhutan, Nepal, Macau, East Timor, Japan and Trinidad and Tobago. Until 1967, Sweden drove on the left opposite from neighboring countries Denmark, Finland and Norway. Swedish drivers who travel abroad got into car accidents because of their unfamiliarity with the traffic patterns, as did tourists who came to Sweden. Additionally, Swedish automotive companies made cars that were meant to be driven on the right so they could be more easily exported to the rest of the right driving world. But many of these cars found their way onto Swedish roads. Swedish drivers were thus seated to the outside edge of the road, making visibility bad. To combat these issues, the Swedish government made the case for switching to the right. On September 3, 1967, Sweden planned to switch from driving on the left side of the road to the right side, known as H-Day. First morning after Sweden changed from driving on the left side to driving on the right, this was what it looked like. Now come to India. Following a British rule and standards, we still follow the left lane driving. We can say this system is best because it's purely from a physiological and an ergonomics viewpoint. Most humans are left hemisphere dominant for visuospatial skills, that is right-handed. That means that the right-hand vision is privileged. Driving on the left side of the road with the steering wheel on the right, positions are dominant field of view facing oncoming traffic. Thus, we drive left. Thanks for watching my video. For more details about India, Indian stuffs, please subscribe to Indian Mini Guide.